Hey everyone, Sean Frangella here for MotionTutorials.net with a new Photoshop tutorial about how you can use 360 environment photos to create image-based lighting in Photoshop's 3D workspace. This episode is brought to you by ArtbeatsEXPRESS. Create a free account at ArtbeatsEXPRESS, stock media by subscription, and receive complimentary broadcast quality resolution content files. No credit card payments or obligations are required. Click the link for more details. So if you're a Photoshop user and haven't dug into 3D tools yet, you can actually do a lot. And as we can see here, we have some 3D text that's been extruded and it's sitting in this environment, and we're using image-based lighting from that 360 photo to create the lighting and reflections on the text. It's a really useful effect that you can use for compositing 3D objects, as well as if you just want to relight objects and get a totally different result. So this is our final project. And let's talk about getting this set up. Here I have just a basic Photoshop document with a background gradient and some 3D text. And the first thing we want to do is make sure we have this 3D workspace, and we can go get that if we are in our standard workspace like we have here by going up to Window Workspace 3D. And that's going to change things a bit. And the main panels that we're going to worry about are Layer, this 3D panel, and Properties. This is where you do most of the 3D work in Photoshop. And what we want to do to make this text 3D is we can select the text layer, and then under 3D, there's these three options. What we would want to do is highlight 3D extrusion, press create, and that's going to create our 3D text and extrude it and give us some settings. Now what we want to do is extrude this, change some settings, and talk about this image-based lighting. So let's talk about getting this set up real quick. When we have the 3D text layer selected, you can see under properties, there's this extrusion depth, so we can extrude this much further. We can also highlight everything to get some different tools. And if we press V repeatedly, we can cycle through different properties. So we could move the horizontal axis and kind of bend it a little bit, twist it if we wanted, taper it down. And if we go to this third one, we can change the caps. And this is really important for 3D lighting. Now what we can do is make our width a little bigger, and you can see it gets kind of chiseled. And we can change the contour of that by clicking this little contour icon and selecting any of these presets. So let's say we did this cone and go to OK. It's going to kind of cut that in, and that's a nice little 3D look to get started. And to see what we're going to end up with our scene, there's this render button, which we can press, and that's going to render our shot. Now, it's a good start. There's some default lighting and shadows, but we're not really seeing anything in the text because there's not much to reflect in the scene. Well, what we can do is grab any of these materials, and it's automatically creating different materials for the front, the bevel, the extrusion. And if I grab one and press shift, I can select all of them. And what we can do to make it a little more interesting is turn up this reflection amount. And you can see it looks like it's just getting brighter, but if we render, it's going to go through, and you can see there's a little more interest. It's reflecting the object, but still there's not much there. And that's because one of the big things that Photoshop uses to help with our lighting materials is image-based lighting. And if I just escape out of that and click on environment in our 3D tab, you can see there's a sphere with these couple dots that I can move around. That's our image-based lighting. Now, it's just this default one, which is kind of plain, but what we can do is click this button and go to new texture. And this is going to let me create a new image that it's going to use for that image-based lighting. And what I'm going to use for this one is one of these 360 environment photos from the Vegas City Pack of 360 Environment Maps Pro. And these are 360 environment photos that are flattened into a flattened image. So when you wrap it around a sphere, everything comes together seamlessly. I got a ton of these to work with. And if you want to check these out, I have a lot of packs for them available in the online store at motiontutorials.net/store, where you can get all sorts of 360 environment map photos for things like the new Vegas pack or building interiors, city skylines, and outdoor settings, and even get bundles. And they're fully compatible with Photoshop if you wanted to do that workflow, as well as After Effects and Cinema 4D. I just want to pick one of these, and let's grab one of these neon signs. Those look pretty cool. We can see it's 2176 by 1088. So in Photoshop, when I'm doing my new image-based lighting, I just want to match that. So 2176 by 1088. And I have these in 2K, 4K, and 8K. So if you wanted really high resolution, you can go up all the way to 8K. For this demo, I'm just going to use the 2K versions. And then I'm going to click OK. It's going to create a new image-based lighting material, and you can see it just looks white. And now what I can do is go to edit that texture, and it's a separate linked document similar to a Photoshop Smart Object. So if I want to change this, all I got to do is open up any of these. So I'll grab this one first, bring it into Photoshop, and then just select all, copy, paste, and save that. And now you can see it looks completely different. And if we do a quick render, we can see we're starting to see some of those colors in there. And I can't see much because my material is a little bright. So what I can do is grab all those materials again, and it's going to make this diffuse color straight out of whatever you had the original text as. So if I just open that up and I get kind of a color and pull this down, now you can start to see all of those reflections from that environment. And you can see how that's completely changing what it looks like. Now this is really useful because if we want to get a different take on this, we can just grab another one of those photos. So let's grab this daylight one of these neon signs, copy it, paste it into that image-based lighting linked file, save that, and watch this. It's going to update and look completely different. And if I click on environment, it's going to show up in the background. You can see I could swing this around and kind of move it and get different reflections showing up in there. And if I didn't want to use this blue gradient background, what I could do under properties when I have my environment selected is press set IBL as background. And now if I press that render button, you can see it's actually going to be sitting within that background. And that's pretty cool. We can make it look like it's composited or make it show up if we wanted. And if I grab anything else, you can kind of see what this is going to look like. And again, it's all going to automatically update anytime I change this. So if I just grabbed a different one, let's try this cool looking fake castle from the Excalibur Casino. I'll just paste that in, same thing, save. And it's storing all of these, so I could always turn it on and off if I wanted to go back. And then I could still move my 3D text around. I could grab my default light and change the shadows. I could pull my text closer. And if I ever want to edit that original source with the size of it, I can go to edit source. And here's the smart object that was created for our 3D extrusion. So I could just scale that down with transform, save. And you can see how quickly and easily everything updates. So it's doing this really intelligently because it's linking everything together the same way you would expect with smart objects. And then if I want to move my environment, I can change that. I could adjust my materials a little if I didn't like that bright blue, if it looks a little too extreme. I can grab my default light up here and move to adjust the shadows. And then I can press render or Command Shift Alt R, and we can take a look at that result. So using image-based lighting is a really useful tool in Photoshop's 3D workspace. It's a really fundamental concept for working with any 3D program. And if you want to create your own 360 environment map photos like this, you can do that by checking out one of my other tutorials I had about how to create them for Facebook. It'll default save that. And if you want to save yourself some time and grab some of these environment map photos I've created, again, be sure to check out 360 Environment Maps Pro in the motiontutorials.net store, where I have tons of these. Each pack comes with 35 unique environment map photos. So if you look at this Vegas city pack, for example, look at all these different looks that you can really get completely different looking 3D renders, whether you're in Photoshop, After Effects, or Cinema 4D. They're compatible with all of those. And if you want to save and get some bonus packs, you can pick up some of these bundles where you can get 5 bonus if you get 2 packs at once, or 10 bonus photos if you get all 3 packs together, and save over 25%. So be sure to check those out in the motiontutorials.net online store. And if you have any questions on this one or working in 3D in Photoshop, be sure to hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Sean Frangella, and you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/motiontutorials. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to keep learning more about environment maps, working in 3D in Photoshop, as well as other 3D apps, be sure to click on any of those thumbnails that are popping up now, where we can keep talking about working in 3D and all sorts of cool VFX and motion graphics concepts. Thanks for watching. I will see you at the next video.